And there's a lot of wisdom that comes by learning how to ask good questions. And that's part of what we do, with the Karma Institute and with our coaching and stuff like that is because most of the time if you're having a hard day and someone says, so why are you having a hard day? You go, well, I got this guy ran into me and down the car, and I don't know, something happened and I just got irritated, and then you go, well, then what else? And keep getting, and they finally find out that you had an experience at work that was troubling, and it comes from asking more and more questions to really get down, because there's the public truth and then there's the private truth, and the private truth is the one that we hold on real dearly, where we don't really want to confide. And that's the other thing I think is really amazing. We have this concept about being vulnerable, that people don't want to share some of their weaknesses because of how they're going to be perceived. And when I do a workshop, I'm constantly saying, folks, when somebody shares really deeply something very personal and they're willing to be vulnerable about it, how do you feel about them? And 99% of the time, people feel closer, more connected, more compassionate. So why do we have this misconception that if I'm willing to be vulnerable, I'm going to be perceived as a bad person or a weak person or whatever the case may be? And if we can learn...
Conditioning.
What's that?
I think a lot of it is conditioning in our society.
Well, and I think it's also, to be honest with you, is going back to the point about we need to listen better and we need to be able to ask questions. Is because if you are vulnerable and the person's not listening and they're not able to ask the questions or be supportive, you sort of feel rejected. So sometimes by being really vulnerable with some people, it doesn't turn out very well, right? But if you can develop a partnership with somebody that you can really trust to share really, like I have a half a dozen people in my life that when I have something that's really going on I want to share, I know that I can call them and I can share with them, and they are totally non-judgmental. Yeah. They are supportive, they're there for me, they listen, they ask questions, they guide me, they support me, and then vice versa. And I think we all need to have that. And so part of what we're going to do with the Karma Institute is make that possible through video chats, where people can call in on a video chat and have a private session where, like I was telling you, like I did today with this gentleman who was very, very stressed about his work. And within 15 minutes, we were able to get him to the point of recognizing what's underneath the stress. Because for him, it was, I feel stressed in my job because there's just so much to do and I don't have enough, time, and I get so stressed. And so what do you feel? So my question was, what do you feel when you are feeling stressed? Well, there's anxiety. I'm feeling anxiety. Okay, so what's the feeling or what's fueling that anxiety? And sometimes we don't know, right? I mean, sometimes I don't think we even consciously stop and go, I'm stressed because there's just so much to do. We don't even go to the point of acknowledging that there's anxiety. But then if you even go...
Because you're feeling that stress.
You're just in it. You're just in it. And you're like survival mode, right? And then you go from the anxiety to then what's feeding the anxiety. And the anxiety, I think for this gentleman, was that I'm going to screw up. So the question was from there is, so do you feel that, that you're not good enough, that you might make some mistakes? And yes. And so is that a pattern that you see in other areas of your life? Yes. So now when he's starting to feel stressed, he can immediately recognize that the stress, then there's anxiety. Oh, and I'm feeling like I'm not good enough. So then he can go into the mini meditation or whatever the case may be and ground himself and say, I am good enough. I can do this, So we can circumvent that, but it's digging deep and getting down there. And that's an art.